Hey everybody, welcome to another Angel live stream. My name is Allie Barlow. I'll be your host tonight, and I'm joined with the amazing David Fisher, who is the producer of Sight. Thanks for joining
How's
me
it going?
tonight, David.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome to be with you, Ellie. Great to see you.
I know. This time, I mean, it's across the computer, but with you here. Well,
That's
everybody,
right.
we have so much in store for this live stream tonight. We're going to introduce you to Dr. Ming Wang, who is the real hero behind the movie Sight. He'll be joining us in just a little bit here, but we will also be going into some behind the scenes on the film's creation and their experiences there. We're going to see a brand new trailer, never before seen trailer of Sight will be played tonight. And then we're going to
That
wrap
is
up
so
with you.
great.
Yeah, are you have you seen it yet?
I sure hope so. As
You
the
okay?
producer,
I was like,
I keep my eyes on these things to make sure it gets done right. But when I think about the trailers and how short of a time that you have to
yeah,
actually get people engaged in the story, not tell them too much. I've always been frustrated with trailers that tell me too much. I want them.
yes.
It's like I can figure the whole movie out after I've done a trailer,
You're
but
like, I don't need to
you
see it
also
now. I saw it all.
you want to hook people. But we've got tickets. We got tickets for sale. The last live stream we did, we hit a whole sale of tickets. I think we sold. I mean, after that live stream, I looked up the ticket number. There were over 30,000 tickets sold for this movie. That just doesn't
It's
happen
amazing.
8 weeks out from a movie. We're now 6 weeks away, and I think we're getting close to 40,000 tickets sold. So you can go to angel.com /site to get all of that kind of information on tickets. We also have, I don't mean to sound so salesy, but I've got to. I'm proud of this movie. I am so proud of
Do
this
it.
movie. We also have a buyout opportunity. Now, this is unique to be able to do these types of buyout opportunities. You've maybe
Hmm.
heard of being able to do a buyout after the movie has been released, but we're offering a lot of different buyout strategies. And I just got confirmed, actually, that AMC, Cinemark, Regal, Marcus, Harkins, Megaplex, Malco, Cineplex, and Landmark of Canada, they've all picked this movie up. People have been
So
calling
awesome.
like crazy to get Sight at their theaters. And you can go to angel.com /buyout site. I guess it's called /. You know what? I don't even know what slash you have to do, but just go buy out theaters, because what it's going to do is help us get to more theaters and bring movies that amplify light out to the whole country and to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there might be some people on here, David, that haven't yet heard about Sight. Can you just tell us a little bit about the film for those that are just hearing about it?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking. It's almost like we're following a script. This is
Weird.
crazy. No, thank you. I mean, the movie about Sight is it's a powerful, powerful story that I believe is going to impact you, and it's going to impact your life, because we all have a past. And this movie is about following the life of a doctor who has a past. We start the movie in a pretty dramatic way. You've got a doctor at the top of his career. He's an eye surgeon, best in class, best in the world at what he does. And this little girl from Calcutta, India, is rushed to him after her eyes were intentionally blinded with
Mm,
acid. It's horrible. This is
that's so
all
sad.
true life story. So this little girl is rushed to one of the best eye surgeons in the world, and as he is racing against time to to fix her sight, he is thrust into flashbacks of his own life. He's reminded of the life that he grew up in China, where he experienced a lot of different trauma and a lot of
Yeah.
different situations himself. So this is a movie really that looks at and through the eyes of an 8-year-old boy who grew up in communist China, and
Hmm.
how he got through some of the most difficult moments of his childhood to get to the United States. And then you get to see what happens as he races to try and save the sight of this little girl. He realizes, sorry to say it, went way too long, but
I love it. Keep going.
he realizes that in order for him to do the best that he can in the present,
Hmm.
he has to be at peace with his past. he has to be at peace. And we all have a past, Allie. We all have a past, and we have to be at peace with it because the present is made possible by the past, all of it. And the good, the bad, it's what makes us who we are. And that's the movie. There you go.
I love it. That was beautiful. So, for those of you who have not seen a trailer yet, we have one out now, but we have a brand new one that we want to show you guys tonight. So, I'm so excited to see it. I have not seen it yet. I think we should show it now. What do you think?
Let's do it. I can't wait.
Okay, enjoy, guys.
林旭，你想当医生吗？
想啊。
There was an uprising in my hometown.
打倒赵老师。
爸说他们有朋友把学校关掉了，说我还怎么当医生呢？
I have this patient from India, a very brave girl. Hello, Kajal.
Ming, did the nun tell you what happened?
No.
Street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
She reminds me of Lily.
我永远都会保护你。
你真的那么想？
当然。
I told Lily we would make it together.
刘旭，快帮我！
How do I move forward? I feel like I'm stuck.
You are the doctor, they say, who can work miracles.
There's some things in the past that I can't get over.
Who says you have to get over them?
Keep working hard. You're gonna do great things in this world.
Somehow, I can help Kajal out of the dark.
I'm with you, Ming.
You cannot change the past, Ming.
The memory of Lily has fueled your desire to help people come out of their darkness.
You're gonna get there. Just let go.
This beautiful child has moved beyond the tragedy of her past.
Kajal has opened my eyes. She's teaching me that there's more to life than what you see.
Oh, that was so good. Everyone, we are welcomed now with the man himself, Dr. Ming Wang. Thank you so much for joining us. What did you think of the new trailer?
It was the first time I saw it, and I was really impacted by it. I love how the questions were set up, and then let the story unfold a little bit to see the dimension, then the depth of the story behind that question. Without answering the question, give all the viewers an opportunity to ask ourselves, what is my answer to that question?
What was the question, Dr. Wang, that you kind of zeroed in on? That's interesting.
Zero is, it started with, this is the first time I saw this trailer, to start with a childhood dream.
Right.
That, I wanted to be a doctor. And that's, I never seen the red version trailer that start with this one. And all of us as a kid, we have a dream. You maybe want to be a mathematician, an engineer, computer scientist, or business person, or attorney, any profession. So that they immediately ask the viewers, hey, what is your dream? What did you start out your life as a kid you want to dream about? And the question then is, what happened? Were you able to realize that dream? What were the obstacles that you have encountered along the way?
It's awesome. Dr. Wang, I mean, you have been through so much. And first off, awesome to see you. It's good to see you. I love seeing you and being with you. And I can't wait to be at the premieres that are coming up here in a little bit. And, this is such a journey that we've had. But I know so much about you. I'd love for the audience that has tuned in to know about Dr. Wang. So it's almost like I want you to almost take your coat off, relax, let them in to the real Ming Wang, right? This is our family out there. The Angel Guild and the Angel people that come to this, man, we could not do this without you. And we are so blessed that you have joined us on this live stream. So let's get into it just a little bit. And I want to ask a question. You've been in so many different situations, Dr. Wang. You grew up in communism. Most people watching did not grow up in communism. Many of you did, though. I know that there are people watching that did, and they can relate to maybe what you can share with us. But you lived through China's Cultural Revolution. You've had your own spiritual journey, your medical profession. You've immigrated to another country with a dream to have it realized. Can you just, I'd love the viewers to get a sense of your experiences, and maybe we could just start a little bit with communism. And communism does not have the same principles as freedom or capitalism or anything that we grew up with here in the United States and certainly even outside of the United States. And so I would just say, can you share with us a little bit of what it was like to grow up in communism, and tell us how it was like growing up during the Cultural Revolution of China?
Thank you for the question. First of all, David, I do want to make a comment about your leadership to this project. You and I have been with the team together 10 years. We're a lot younger than when we started, and it was your vision. You saw when I told you my story, and you're the first one mentioned to me, there's a movie here. And 10 years, I saw you help put the teams together as the producer and make it happen. So I'm really humbled and honored to have you, Andrew Hyatt, the director, Darren Moorman, the other producer, Greg Kinnear, Terry Chen, all the world-class artists, who have crafted it, all their lives, all your life to craft such art that to bring this film onto big silver screen. So it's a very humbling, honored experience. Regarding your question, I grew up during what they call the Cultural Revolution. And what I'm about to tell you, for those of you who do not know, it will sound crazy. What could ever happen in any country? In 1966, the government shut down all universities and colleges of entire China. And sent away all the high school graduates to some of the poorest part of the country for a lifetime of poverty and hard labor. And it was inconceivable that any government would do that to its future generation, and it did happen. So in 1974, I grew up in a city in the southern southeast part of China. So in 1974, I was 14. I finished my high school, junior high, and I was going into high school when the deportation order came down to me, just like 20 million others, and I was going to be sent away for life as well, to no fault of my own. I end up have to pick a music instrument, Chinese violin, erhu, and learning dancing, because if I could do any of those things, I might be able to avoid being sent away to the countryside, to the hard labor, by joining a government song and dance troupe. So it's interesting that when I see kids in this country today, in America, that the beautiful schools, beautiful educational system, beautiful, the books and teachers, and sometimes students don't sometimes realize to appreciate what an opportunity, the freedom to pursue knowledge, to pursue happiness. And I want to say that I want to tell America my story so that we all appreciate more what we have by being more willing to work together in America today.
What was it like to escape one of the darkest eras in history? There's both like an escaping, like literally, but we know that it's about this story of, there's so much emotional stuff that went on in your childhood, and you had to figure out how to get beyond that dark era into a time where you could experience freedom and dream again. What was that like?
It was very, very difficult. I have to tell you that my biggest inspiration and help of those years, very trying period during the Cultural Revolution in China in the 1960s and 70s, were from my parents. Ever since as a kid, when I was 3, I remember we were very poor, living in a room full of us, me, my younger brother, my parents, live in a room of very small, 4 of us, no AC, no heater, no bathroom, no kitchen, and there was one 8-watt little light bulb. And I remember that's all we could afford. And I remember Dad was trying to study his medical books, and he held the light very high. The restroom was illuminated, but he couldn't read it. The light is too far away from the book. But he put the light low, then the rest of the room will stay too dark for the rest of us. So he figured out, he put 2 chairs on top of each other, and he was climbing on the top chair. It was summer days. We didn't have AC, so he was bare-chested, wearing a shorts. But in his hands was a book. And he put the 8-watt light close to the book, and he was reading. And I was a kid at the time. I was looked up, and I saw hundreds of little pearls of sweat on his back. Despite the poverty, despite lack of opportunity, that Dad and Mom, that they saw beyond the circumstance. The movie is called Sight. It's to see beyond the circumstance and believe there could be better tomorrow. And that's applicable and inspirational to all of us.
That's right. That's incredible. I mean, that image of your dad, I've heard it before, and I just, it's amazing when you have parents that sacrifice their life like that. And one of the things about this film that you're going to see is that what we've tried to do in the creative process is help you understand the beauty of family life and help you understand the beauty of Dr. Wang's family life. But maybe you didn't grow up with a family where you experienced something of beauty. And this still is a movie that will deeply impact you, because it shows how one can get beyond and see beyond their own past in order to live out life in the present. And one of the people that helped Dr. Wang get beyond his past was his father. But for you, it might be a pastor, or maybe it was a good friend, or maybe it was someone in college or after college. But they helped you see that even though you experienced something in the past, you were able to live out your life in the present by bringing healing to your past. And this is a movie for you. This is powerful.
Amazing. So for those of you at home watching and joining in with us, if you have any questions at all, send them in the comments and we'll try to get to them at some point during this live stream. Dr. Wang, I have a question for you. You are now very well known and respected in the medical community as a renowned eye surgeon. Did you always know that that's what you wanted to do, or what drew you into this career?
Oh, thank you, Ali. I have a question that as we're doing this streaming, how many people can you tell online at the moment?
Let me check for you. They're going to get that number for us.
Okay, no problem. I'm just wondering. Now, I'm well known. I guess I'm well known in my house for sure. I'll tell you that I feel so blessed to be able to find freedom, but not only physically, to be able to pursue the dream like all immigrants, but also to find the freedom spiritually, to, coming to America allowed me to open a brand new world to see life is not just about science, and life is also about a higher purpose-driven life. That is what we're going to use the medical skills tools for. And, different people have different professions, and God will have different callings to you. For me, the calling is to use my long, hard-studied medical skill to help those who need the most help. Those are the blind, orphan children. So it's God's calling, and allow me to set higher purpose. And many viewers out there, parents are wondering today that, kids today are living in the virtual space, right? TikTok and the Facebook and Instagram, and that it's hard to get them more motivated and hard to land them, actually land. I brought this film to many folks, schools, churches, and different communities. And one thing I think very striking is these young people resonated with the story. Because for them, it's not another TikTok image or Instagram, some unknown person. I was right there talking to them. And the parents, so for the kids, it's very impactful. They take them out of the virtual world into reality to show them, number one, you can do it, and number two, what it would take to do it. And the parents have been telling me that this is the most important question in the world that was better, material, the living standard. How can they still continue to motivate their kid? And I said, well, what does this film tell you? And these parents told me that this film tells me that I need to inspire my kids to set a higher goal. So however comfortable one is, living standard-wise here in America especially, if you set a higher goal, that is, you need the science, you need those tools. You cannot be lazy, but it's necessary. It's not sufficient. You got to have a higher purpose-driven life.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's amazing. I want to say one thing just real quick in here. Just when I hear you say that, I think that we have set goals. I mean, we want the country to see this film. We want the world to see this film. And in order to see the film, it's part of the whole system in Hollywood, and the whole theater system is there's a lot of movies that are coming out all the time. And we're going up against some of the big tentpole movies. I mean, there's big movies coming out the same weekend as us. May 24th, Memorial Day weekend, is when this movie is releasing. And we want to encourage you to go now, to angel.com/site. You can also go to angel.com/tickets as well for site. You'll find the way to go there. You can use this QR code that's on the screen. What's so important with theaters is this. In order to see this movie for multiple weekends in a row, we have to show the theaters and the exhibitors that there are a lot of people that want this. And you, the Angel Guild, and you, the Angel fans that are out there, you, the fans of Dr. Wang and this movie site, this beautiful story, let's show the country that movies like this matter, that they matter. And the way that we show them is we got to buy tickets. We do it right now. And that's why we want to keep on getting out in front of you. And let's repost this as many places as you can. We're going to get this out on YouTube at some point. And we just want you to get this story out to everyone. Another way to do it is I know this sounds like such a salesy thing, but this helps wrap the whole thing. I mean, look at that beautiful T-shirt that Allie's wearing there of Sight. It's gorgeous. And you voted on this. We put these out across the country, and we got votes on what merch you guys wanted. We actually got this really cool sweatshirt here as well. And on the back, it actually says, there's more to life than what you see. Isn't that cool? And we have it in simple Mandarin as well. These are like, oh, look at that. And you've got a tote bag. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want a tote bag?
Right?
But these are the ways. These are the ways. I mean, we've got the band here that says there's more to life than what you see. And we actually, if you go back down, Micah, on that band, I want to show them the band if we go down, because that band actually has Braille on it. If you get close and feel it, it's got Braille, so that we want to support the blind community as well in this movie. So you can go to shop.angel.com to see all of this different merchandise. Why? Not because we want to sell a bunch of merchandise for itself. It's because this movie represents something. It represents a deeper story about everything that we've been about. There is more to life than what you see. And we know as believers that there's something powerful that we see in our lives that has changed everything. There's a story that has changed everything. And it's not Dr. Wang's story. It's not my story. It's the story of Christ. And we know that, this is a powerful story, but this isn't a movie to try and go too far into that space. It's actually a movie that poses questions and that allows you as an audience to answer them. And we believe in that because Angel believes in amplifying the light through their storytelling. This has just been an awesome experience to bring that to the table. And we have to buy tickets now. We've got to get out and support this film.
Yes, thank you, David. Again, let's throw up that link one more time for everybody at home with the QR code to get your tickets. It's angel.com/site. So get your tickets now and tell your friends about it. Movies are way fun when you take people with you. So we have a quick question from somebody that's tuning in. Let's pull that up. So Mary, who's a guild member, says, what was the hardest scene to film? So I'm going to open that up to you guys. What was the hardest scene to film?
There were a couple of difficult scenes. There were a couple of difficult scenes that we had to work. In particular, we had a scene where we were fighting with the sun that was setting. In fact, this was one of these powerful scenes where the young Ming in the past were on the beach. We had to kind of secure off. It was a public beach, so we had a permit to be there, but anyone in the public can walk through and walk by. So we had to like secure a section as best we could, capture the sun as it was setting, and make sure that Ben Wang, and this is so cool. Ben Wang, who played the young Ming in his teenage years, he is actually going to be the next Karate Kid. They're doing a remake of the Karate Kid.
That's so cool.
So Ben is going to be huge coming up here. But do you remember? There it is. Yeah. Do you remember when we filmed that, Ming? It was such a beautiful scene, and we had that crane that was working around Ben. If you see all these people out in the water, we had to position the cameras just perfect so they were not in picture.
Wow.
And then at the very end, this dog goes racing across. It was a very shallow spot of the water, and there we had to spend a little bit of extra money in VFX to have it painted out. So you won't see the dog or any of the people actually in the final movie. But that was a very tough scene to capture because we had to fight against a sun that's setting very quickly, and you want to capture that golden moment. Do you remember that, Ming?
Yes, I remember. For me, probably one of the hardest moment that experience. First of all, it was a very special experience for the cast and crew. 250 of them for 2 months in Vancouver, Canada, early 2021, in the middle of COVID, and but we made it work. It was a team effort. I think what made it special is I was there every day. You were there every day. The other producer and the director. And it shows the level of care and that we wanted to experience together this movie making magic, right? The most difficult moment for me, as I remember, was I would try not to give up too much story away, is that sight is such a indispensable ability for any of us as human beings. Think about if hearing, speaking, touching, smelling, if one sense that goes away, ladies and gentlemen, if one sense goes away, that is the most devastating. And what would that be? And I think most of us will say sight. So sight, the movie Sight, it hits the very core of a human experience to take us to a world that for people who don't have sight, what world will look like to them. And so therefore, in comparison, make us all appreciate so much more what we have. But not only physical sight, but also the spiritual dimension of it. And the tagline of the films, there's more to life than what we see. So Sight is a film will help all of us to overcome our pain, circumstance, ourselves, our own culture, and our polarization, to see a bigger world, to see a more beautiful world, to inspire and help all of us to overcome the difficulties in our lives. In the shooting, the most difficult moment was, as I said, I try not to give a story away, is an Indian child. Indian child that, could you imagine a 5.5-year-old orphan was intentionally blind?
So
you know, like
sad.
the film Sound of Freedom last year by Andrew Studio. It was human. They took kids away. You know, human trafficking. This side is similar in the sense that it's those kids, their sight, the most important, indispensable human sense was taken away. You see the photo of Kajal, intentionally, you know, and how the world just came together, all of us. And during the shooting, I remember that scene when Kajal was intentionally blinded, was shot for a long time. And I kept on going back, and I still positioning every piece and all the actor and actress. And every time Kajal screamed, and everybody shuddered. Everybody shuddered.
And
So it's
just to be clear, you know, with that scene, for anyone that has families or kids that want to come, there is we were very tasteful in the editing process. So as we edit that project and that piece together, we made sure that we would do it in a way that both recognized the horror of that, but at the same time, we were tasteful with how to be able to present something not too much and not too graphically, so that it could be experienced, but not too deep into that actual situation. But it was a powerful moment. And I tell you what, Mia, who was just an incredible actress, and she's grown up so much in these last few years. I've been watching her social media. She was extraordinary playing the role of Kajal. I know that you guys have said Kajal. I know sometimes we pronounce it Kajal, and even like your name, Dr. Ming, Wang. What we've said that we're going to do because it's the easiest for us, I'll say, but it's actually Wang is how you would pronounce it. Just so anyone that's watching, we try our best to try and create universal ways of saying things, but it is that is something that we've heard along the way.
Yeah. And the side is about human, that's something we treasure so much, all of us. And I think it will resonate with everybody. If for parents, as I mentioned, it's about seeing beyond the circumstance, seeing beyond the circumstance of their kids. Your kids may be in trouble in school, maybe in the growing up in jobs and educational process. And the site will inspire you to help your child see beyond. Site will also inspire the young people to see beyond their current difficulty. And site was inspire all of us to see beyond our own existence, to recognize there's a higher dimension, higher purpose of life.
Yeah. And Dr. Wang, we've talked about, how it can influence the people that have watched it, maybe the people that already have. I also heard that there were some crew members whose lives were changed from working, their lives were changed by you working on this film. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. We had a truck who delivered food every luncheon and for the team. And this is the owner of the trucking, the company delivered the food. They start telling David Fisher, the producer, and in the luncheon, that how he was getting more and more worried every day because his wife was losing sight, became blind at the age of 30. And he couldn't concentrate to his work anymore because she was losing sight. And they saw many specialists recognizing she had a progressive condition, and the doctor they've seen that did not know how to deal with it. They already gave a prediction that she will lose complete her sight at some point time soon at age 30 something. So David heard that during lunch and came talk to me, and I went out to talk to this guy, the owner of the food truck, and started looking into detail. A long story short, that's the power of making a movie called Sight together. It's not just the story, it's not just the actor and actress, it's about people who work on the project. Their life impacted on the spot in a real-time fashion by the compassion and also the advancement of technology, which you talk about in this movie. In this movie, that you will see a fascinating new technology that has now become a worldwide a powerful treatment for millions of patients have their eyesight restored. And that genesis, the story of invention of that technology, is in this film. So I talked to this gentleman about the technology long story short, before the film was finished shooting, we were able to find a way and identify the treatment, because it happened to be a disease that I published 6 textbooks about, and get his wife the right help. And when we were leaving, David and I were again one like last day shooting. We went up to him. He was very grateful, and I couldn't imagine a more powerful, actual live manifestation of the power of movie Sight, when it can actually change the life of people on the set in a real time fashion.
You know, Allie, literally on set, right? We would get there very early in the morning, and I would always drive with Ming and Andrew Hyatt, our director, and the other producers, Darren Mormon. They would drive in a different vehicle, and we would get to set, and they had set up a table behind the producers' chairs for Dr. Wang. And Dr. Wang, at a certain point, they had it all ready for him every time. So they would have a table, they'd have like an extension cord ready for him, because they knew that when he would come to set, he would set up an office. Oh. And Dr. Wang would work behind me with his patients. Like, so he's constantly working with his doctor. This is one of the church scenes, but you can't see the table behind us there, but there was one. And Dr. Wang would sit behind us, and he would be working with his doctors back home, with Leona, his trusted, I mean, Leona's business manager. My goodness, she was amazing. And anytime we had a cultural question, anytime we had a Mandarin question, anytime we had like, is this really how it felt or how it did, or are we capturing? He'd be right there for us. I mean, some people do not want to have the real life person on set, because they're just it's easy for them to get to take over. That was not my experience of being with Dr. Wang. We had a ball, and he helped us stay on track. He was just, he would always be there in my ear. It almost drove me nuts every once in a while, but he would be there in my ear telling me, this is so cool. That's the weekend before we started shooting. Greg, from left to right, it's Darren Norman, our producer, Greg, Dr. Wang, Terry Chen, who plays Ming, myself, and Andrew Hyatt, our director. I mean, I felt like, for me, this was our dream team. It was an amazing, amazing team of humble people who came together to make a powerful, powerful story together. But we'd all watch him. I mean, there's 100 plus people on set every day. You're watching Dr. Wang working with people, and people would kind of line up after a while, and they'd be like, I've got an uncle, I've got a daughter, I've got a niece. I mean, Terry himself had questions before we even came on set, when we were in quarantine, just to get through the COVID kind of protocols in Canada. I remember him connecting with you, Dr. Wang, about things. So I'll let you keep asking questions, Allie, or if there's any other questions. Ming, you've got to, sorry. This
I know, tell us about some of these pictures that they're throwing up. What's going on here?
You got to tell them about this one, Ming. Do you remember when we were?
Yes. In my autobiography, From Darkness to Sight, which you see in my background on my right, that based on which the movie Sight was made, that my family was so supportive in Cultural Revolution that I never had a toy in my life growing up, because my parents could never afford one. But my dad taught me how to make toys. So I never had a toy bought for me, but I did make many toys myself. And one toy I made all the time was the little paper boat. And Terry, who has to play me in the movie, I have to patiently teach him how to make those paper boats. And it's interesting. At the time, it was not, I just had to have that toy. And as a 3 or 4 year old, you have no toy. That's devastating. So I did have toys, but every one I made it. But because I have to make my toys growing up, because my parents couldn't afford to buy one, I end up to be pretty good with my hand. And later on, now I am as an eye surgeon, because I've been playing with my hands and the small details all the time. So that's the thing that I was teaching Terry, how to, the actor who played me. And the other dimension, I don't know, David, whether we have planned to talk about this, that, this has a faith dimension, and this movie is for both the non-believers and believers. And it's for all of us, the shared humanity. if you're immigrant, if you're not immigrant, if you're native born. It's a message to speak across racial barriers, across ethnicities, across political persuasions, across religions. It's about, that doesn't matter you believe or not believe, we need to see beyond our pain, see beyond our circumstance, and see beyond ourselves, and see beyond our own culture, and see beyond our polarization.
Great.
I'm here holding, I think Andrew Studio planned to put this book up, that Dr. Wright's books, who wrote God's Not Dead, and actually in the movie, for the believers in the crowd today, the God's Not Dead in the movie, the Chinese student who went from an atheist to a believer, in the movie God's Not Dead, that was inspired by my life story. So we wrote this book, Seeing Beyond. It's a Bible study. I think Andrew Studio has a plan to make it a companion study to help us. It's a tool to help all of us to see beyond and to connect with each other, to find a common ground.
Yes, and that's a great reminder to just throw in real quick that you guys can go on and buy some of this merch that we're talking about today on our website right now. And we have those early bird. Oh yeah, look right here. You can see them. Right now it's just pre-order, but I'm so excited for you guys to get your hands on those and some amazing merch. Again, those bracelets have the braille on the inside. Everything is such high quality and so wonderful. And it helps us not only for you to obviously buy the merch, but it also helps other people come to know what Sight is, because they'll see your really cool merch and be like, what is that? And look it up. So it's a cool way that you can help us spread the message of Sight.
Yeah, that is it's awesome. And one of the things that I know is going to happen, I mean, all of these, when you support the project with From Darkness to Sight and actually read the actual life story of Dr. Ming Wang, careful with that companion study, because that has a lot of it reveals the movie to you, because it tracks with the movie. So you might want to see the movie first and then enjoy the companion. But you can do that. I know a lot of groups that love doing that in their churches or in their small group systems that you have set up, that this is a wonderful way to track with a multiple week small group or Bible study, because we actually lay that out in the companion guide to do that. And, it's buying tickets is an important part, but we've got, I just want to remind everyone that's listening, we do have an early bird discount rate that we have put out there for matinee times only, but you can go to angel.com/site. You can also go to angel.com/tickets/site or scan this QR code. One of the things that we wanted to support you with is getting these types of tickets out there for you. And I believe there's another question that came in that I'd love to take. And I think it's Eileen, I can't buy tickets. We have no theater closer than 300 miles. And so she gives a lot of emojis on that. Okay, so here's the deal. I am so happy, Eileen, that you asked, or that you make that comment, because here's what happens. In the Hollywood industry, getting screens for your movie is very difficult. And the way that we get screens is we pre-sell tickets to our movie. So when we had our first live stream and we came out of that with somewhere around 32,000 tickets sold, the theater chains took notice. And within 1 week of that time, we had secured almost 1,300 screens across the country. Now that's amazing. Most movies that are small and independently produced like ours don't get that kind of distribution. When you saw Cabrini, or when you saw The Shift, or maybe you saw His Only Son, or of course Sound of Freedom, they all start off with only a certain amount of theaters based on tickets that are sold. I think Cabrini hit the gold. I mean, they got something like 2,800 theaters actually show Cabrini. Why? Because they pre-sold, what was it, Dr. Wang? Almost 400,000 tickets. It was something like amazing. I can't remember the actual numbers. Don't quote me on that, but they honestly got that many theaters, and that many screens is an extraordinary amount. So when you buy tickets early, to get back to Eileen's question, when you buy tickets early, you can go right to this website and you're able to click on any one of these showtimes, when you see those little flames, it means there's other people that have already started to sign up. And you can go in and you can buy these tickets. It tells the theaters to add more screens, because all those theaters that I named off before, when it comes to any of the different groups that are out there that are in it. So when we talk about AMC or Cinemark or Regal or Marcus, if your theater that's close to you, if you want them to carry Sight, call them up. Yeah. Call up the theater. In fact, when you go in and you look at these theaters, I don't know, Micah, can we scroll down? I don't know if it shows up, but if you go to scroll all the way to the bottom, because you're kind of in your location, but scroll to the bottom. There might be other theaters that aren't connected. Keep going. We got a lot of theaters. There we go. So you see Mammoth Screen Theater at Museum of Ancient Life, or Fat Cat Saratoga, Water Garden Cinema. You can click on request showtimes right there. And we give you that opportunity. Then we can actually get into requesting showtimes at that theater. Eileen, there's got to be a theater closer than 300 miles to you, and I want to deliver this movie to you. And so you just got to go in and you got to request. You got to call your theater, or you just request by clicking on that button. And we want to get this movie to everybody that wants to see it.
I hope that we get in a theater by you, Eileen. You'll have to let us know. I have one comment I wanted to mention that I thought was kind of fun. Dr. Wang, Hope says, nice tie, and she wants you to know she can see all the way to TOZ. So I think she's got great eyes. What do you think?
Yeah. A quick eye exam for me to save time in the clinic. No, just kidding. But I do want to address a key question that I think in view reminds potential viewers or potential viewers. It is why. Yeah. There's so many movies, so many different entertainment programs. Why should I buy tickets, and why should I bring my families to see this movie Sight? What is it in it for me, for my family? And I'd like to kind of give a very summary answer to that question, because for different people have different whys, right? It's a movie about sight. Sight is one of the most important, indispensable human senses we all have. Can you imagine living through life without sight? And this movie is not just about physical sight that we all need to have, but also the spiritual sight. The sight that see things beyond what we see in the life, and to see that we need to help those who have lost sight. That's why the book and the movie, it's about those inspirational stories, these blind orphan kids, how they came from darkness to light, and how in that process, how they have helped me, their eye doctor, to come from my own darkness to light spiritually. Now, beyond sight, but also is for parents to help see through the circumstance, and to see that there's a better future for their kids, and for the people, young people, to see whatever you are fighting, stuck in a life situation, there's a better tomorrow, see beyond the circumstance. And this movie for believers, to recognize that we are believers, we know life is more than what we see of ourselves, see beyond ourselves. And also, is a movie for all race, ethnicities, and cultures, because it doesn't matter you're Latino, African American, white, Asian. We all do need to see beyond our own culture and respect our culture. And finally, it's also about seeing beyond our polarization. We live in a divided nation, and we need to work together to solve the problem we're facing as fellow Americans. And Sight will inspire us, inspire all of us, to next time to see someone different, with different political viewpoint, different races, different ethnicity, to see beyond that, no longer being fixated on differences, but appreciate what we have in common. And finally, many people who have seen the preview of the film, they're wondering about the medical advancement. What is that for my sight physically? My mom had, this disease, my uncle had this disease, my child has this eye problem. Sight is also about a fascinating medical advancement that has literally revolutionized the world, that has brought millions of people that have helped them restore eyesight. And it's all about the story, how that technology was developed, that based on science, inspired by God, and how you can combine science and faith together for all of us to set a higher goal for purpose-driven life. And in the process, this technology has really changed the life of so many. And so Sight has all these multiple dimensions. It's for all of us. It's a movie with a message of freedom, faith, and seeking of common ground that the world is so needed today.
I love that. I cannot wait for people to experience it. I think what you said is spot on. It is a movie for everyone. For those of you watching, if you have any questions, we're about to that point of this live stream where we're going to answer some of those. So hurry and put them in the comments really quick. Dr. Wang, you're a medical pioneer, but I also have heard that you are an impressive competitor in ballroom dance. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I also heard you made David try dancing, and how was that? Tell me about both of those.
I did try to get him to dance indeed, but it's going to take a little bit effort, I think. But
not very good.
You saw, this is actually just a practice session, ballroom. I learned ballroom as a kid because during Cultural Revolution, as I mentioned, in order to avoid being sent away to labor camp for hard labor for life, as the fate, that devastating fate that fell upon the lives of 20 million young people, I have to learn dancing and playing a music instrument, Chinese violin, to get into the government song and dance to avoid being sent away to labor camp. And after coming to America, and dance now and the music instrument has truly become a hobby, and I find it very fascinating that not only is it a wonderful art, it's not just for music, it's not just for exercise. It's about third things that sometimes people underappreciate. Because in order to dance, especially men, we think, oh, we just move. How come the lady's not following? So, lady, how come you don't know what I'm thinking? Men sometimes expect ladies to know what they're thinking. So ballroom dance will cure that ailment in men. That is, in order to communicate, you don't just assume the other side will know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
You have to communicate. In order to move in the dancing, I have to do before I lead. I have to give my partner the pre-lead. I mean, need to kind of demonstrate my intention of moving. Not moving yet, but give her the time to digest, understand what I want to do. She may not want to do. I may want to go that way. She may want to go the other way. Then I have to compromise, negotiate, and finally come up with not my original plan, not her plan, but our plan. And then and only then. So ballroom dancing, more than being a music, great enjoy music and about physical exercise, is most important about human connection. And that's another part of the movie side about life, about seeing other people's life from their perspective. The world needs that connection, need that collaboration, need that common ground finding. Especially as an eye doctor, this ballroom dancing really helped me. Because interesting, if I want to take care of your eyes, you know how it is, you have experience, see a doctor, you wait, the doctor show up, and then just couldn't wait to leave because it was done a bunch of medical jargons. And you say, Doc, did you hear me? Did you care? Do you know what I'm not seeing? What I'm seeing? I realized that if I want to be a good eye doctor and solve your eye problems, I have to see from your perspective. You're the world #1 authority in telling the rest of the world how you're seeing, what are you not seeing. So I have to trade places with you. I have to see the world through your perspective. And that's how I can fix your eye problems. So that I learned from ballroom dancing, the need to work with another human being together.
Wow, that's really cool that it all kind of comes together for you like that. And I know that in the film they'll get to see the Chinese violin and kind of see how that's been tied into your life as well. I think that's really cool.
I actually played with Dolly.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if you have a video clip for that. Dolly is one of my patients, and I know I can tell that because she said that she. Yes, I was playing the Chinese violin in my house actually. So Dolly one day walked in. She said, "I want to play music with you." I said, "You, country music legend, music with me?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "You play the Chinese violin, or who?" So she took me to a studio. She sang a country song, and I played the Chinese violin, and we created something beautiful together, East and West. So Sight is also about East and West. It's about it's not about the world should go east. It's not about world should go west. It's about the world should go forward.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we have a couple of questions from our audience today, from our viewers. Let's throw one up. So this is from Anonymous. They said, when and how did you become a Christian, if you are? Was it growing up in communism? Oh, growing up in communism. Right. So how did you become a Christian? Sorry.
Yeah, great question. I am a Christian, and I was not a believer while I was in China,
right.
Surviving the Cultural Revolution. And just like the movie God's Not Dead, as I mentioned earlier, there's a cute Chinese student in that movie who went from an atheist, then came to America, became a believer. And that character was inspired by my life story in the movie God's Not Dead. Notice that I used the word cute. So that was my character. So I came to America, I was only interested in science because I finally fought so hard and had the chance to have freedom to study science. But it was the studying of the human eye that I got a PhD, the first doctorate degree in laser physics from Maryland, and finished postdoc at MIT. Then I said, I'm going to get my second doctorate degree, this time in medicine, from Harvard and MIT, so I can be a laser eye surgeon. But then when I was at Harvard Medical School, I was studying human eye, where I found the atheist worldview I was in trouble. I couldn't explain how such a complicated structure as human eye could form in such a short period of time with such a near perfection. So finally, I kept on asking Professor a question. He took me out for lunch. He said, what's a cross street? I said, it's a car. He said, what's the difference between car and human eye? I said, human eye is a lot more complicated. He said, okay. Can you imagine how a random piece of metal form itself into a car? I said, no way. He said, how about human eye? Then I realized that the reason that human eye is so complicated yet nearly perfect is because it was formed with a purpose. The purpose was for vision. There is a creator. And of course, going from there to eventually be a Christian is a long journey that described in my book, From Darkness to Sight. So I think, as I said, the sight, it's not just about physical sight, the indispensable human sense, but also, and more importantly, it's about the spiritual sight that we all need to have.
What's so amazing about that story is, I mean, we're talking about someone who came to the U.S., did not really understand English, $50 in his pocket, an English Mandarin dictionary. He gives himself completely and totally into getting a PhD at the University of Maryland. And it's from there that he goes after his life dream to become a doctor, just like his parents. But what's amazing is, he takes the MCAT. I don't want to ruin the story, but my goodness, people, this is one of the smartest human beings on the planet. He scored one of the highest MCAT scores ever.
So cool.
And this is a man who said, I can't find the actual answer to life's deepest, most important question. Not just who am I, but why am I? And that, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about someone who, for all purposes of the world, could have easily gone on and just lived a successful life. But he said, no, there's something deeper. There's something deeper. And he had incredible professors in his life, and he had incredible people that I believe God sent to you to say, hey, there's something more. And your story can amplify something greater. And you know what? Maybe you find yourself struggling with faith. Maybe you find yourself at school struggling with people that don't believe in their faith. But you've got a hero right here. You got a hero in Dr. Wang, who has gone up against science, has gone up against these different markets. I know our time is limited here, Dr. Wang, but I'd love to, I know that you're ready to say something. I can tell.
I would just very quick that I would, without giving the story away, that science alone does not cut it. That the story, as you watch this film, you realize that we all as human beings, we are ultimately limited. We have to be humble and ask for help from beyond ourselves. Whether you're Christian, you're a different religion, faith, if you have a sense of creator, sense of the limitation of human being, this movie will inspire you to see beyond your limitation, to be more willing to ask help beyond ourselves.
I've got a final question for you, Dr. Wang. After all of these years of innovation, what is it that drives you forward now today?
Curiosity. I think they say life is in motion, physical motion, and I'll add to that, life is in mental motion as well. Today, as we get older human being, we have 5 major diseases, cancer, cardiovascular disease, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, and diabetes. And these diseases, human illness, can ultimately be conquered if we remain curious, if we remain interested in finding solution, if we remain interested in pursuing science and research, but at the same time, protecting human life as well. God wants us to do that. He wants us to combine science and faith. He wants us to pursue science to improve quality of lives, and he wants us to protect the lives and preserve our faith. So the Sight movie will suggest a way that it can be done. It will inspire all of us. And for me, it's that curiosity. It's the desire that, whatever I do, I want to do my small part to help make the world a better place.
That is just awesome, Allie. I mean, yeah. I think we've had like a powerful hour here. This has been an awesome. Right?
Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Wang. This has been such a delight getting to know you a little bit and also to get your insights on the film. I am so excited for everyone to go see it. And I hope that you guys all feel so excited now as well after not only seeing the trailers, but also getting to hear from these two who've worked so hard on the film, and Dr. Wang, who this story is about. Just a powerful story, really. And you've kind of dove into like, what the film's about, but then how many different layers they can find within it. And I'm so excited to hear what all of you take away from this film. Let's see here really quick. David.
We want to continue the excitement for you, right?
Yes,
so a couple things happening. First off, keep your eye out on socials, okay? Yes. Angel does an incredible job with social. I mean, I have to say, and I know that we're going a little long here, but I do have to say this. As an independent producer, to have a company like Angel Studios, to have people like yourselves, Angel Guild fans, it has made a world of difference to myself, to my to Darren Mormon, who's also a producer on the project, to Andrew Hyatt, the conversations that I've shared with Greg Kinnear and with Terry Chen about the way that Angel Studios has come to the table and supported us with their staff and supported us with their social media and their marketing and their distribution knowledge and wisdom. This has been an absolutely incredible time, and we are sprinting to the moment when May 24th hits and this movie hits Memorial Day weekend. Please, please, please buy tickets early. We want to continue the excitement with more stuff for you. So keep an eye out for more live streams. We're going to be bringing some of the cast just to give you a little hint on what's going on. We're going to bring some of the cast on for some live streams. So check out the socials coming your way. And we're excited just to end this time together with our trailer and a little special invitation at the end for all of you. So from myself, David Fisher, producer on the film, Dr. Wang, Allie, this has been awesome. And we've got to do this again. It's pretty fun hosting.
We have to. I know, I love this so much. Well, you guys, we love having you with us as well. We love talking to each other, but it's also so fun having you with us. So thank you for joining us. Should we go ahead and get that trailer playing for them?
Let's go to the trailer. Thank you. You'll get a final, we really want you to see the movie on May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. Tell everyone about the film and enjoy this trailer. God bless you.
Ming Shi, 你想当医生吗？
想。There was an uprising in my hometown.
打倒赵老师。
爸说他们有朋友把学校关掉了，说孩子们当医生呢。
I have this patient from India, a very brave girl. Hello, Kajal.
Ming, did the nun tell you what happened?
No.
Street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
She reminds me of Lily.
我永远都会保护你。
你真的那么想？
当然，
I told Lily we would make it together.
明星，快帮我！
How do I move forward? I feel like I'm stuck.
You are the doctor, they say, who can work miracles.
Just some things in the past that I can't get over.
Who says you have to get over them?
Keep working hard. You're gonna do great things in this world.
Somehow, I can help Kajal out of the dark.
I'm with you, Ming.
You cannot change the past, Ming. The memory of Lily has fueled your desire to help people come out of their darkness.
You're gonna get there. Just let go.
This beautiful child has moved beyond the tragedy of her past.
Kajal has opened my eyes. She's teaching me that there's more to life than what you see.
Hello, I'm Terry Chen. I play Dr. Ming Wang in Sight, a powerful new movie from Angel Studios.
I'm the actual Dr. Ming Wang.
Sight is the story of a Chinese immigrant moved by his past to heal a child's future.
It's my story.
I come from an immigrant family, and Sight reminds me of the important contributions Chinese Americans have made in this country. My character pioneered an eye surgery that has changed the lives of millions of people across the world.
It all started right here at this very eye clinic.
Sight is only in theaters May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. Click the link below and get your tickets to watch Sight at a theater near you.
Perfect casting, right? I'm just as handsome as he is.